Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check the HGLRC Sector 5V2 5-inch 6S compatible Betaflight racing drone. In this video I'm going to go over its features and specs, show you how to set it up, and then head outdoors and test it out. The HGLRC Sector 5 is available in a couple of versions. So first of all, you can choose between a plug-and-play version which does not come with a radio receiver and bind-and-fly versions which come with either FrSky or FlySky compatible receivers. You can also choose between 4S and 6S versions, where the only difference is the kV rating of the FD2306 motor. The 4S version comes with 2450 kV motors, and the 6th version, which is the one I have, comes with 1600 kV motors. In addition, in case you own the new DJI HD FPV system, you can get a version which comes with the DJI Air unit. I've built this 7-inch long-range quadcopter by myself, and if you'd like, you can watch my build and flight video in this link over here. In terms of packaging, inside the box, along with the quadcopter, which is already pre-assembled, you can find a bag with some spare screws, HGLRC stickers, a high-quality battery Velcro strap, 3 pairs of Gemfin Hurricane propellers, and since you're only given 1 pair of extra props, I recommend to order a couple of more sets. In addition, you're also getting a 30 degrees 3D printed TPU action camera mount and the user manuals both for the bundled radio receiver and for the quadcopter. In terms of components, this quadcopter is equipped with the HGLRC FD2306 1600 kV motors, since this is the 6S version, and as I mentioned before, the 4S version comes with the 2450 kV motors. Gemfin Hurricane 51499 propellers, which I have a very good experience with, since these are pretty durable propellers and they are not going to break easily. On the front of the quadcopter, you can find the HGLRC Aurora V2 micro FPV camera. It's not an amazing camera, but still, in my opinion, it performs much better than the V1. The camera lens is partly protected by the frame, and if you would like to gain more protection, you can simply use the other mounting holes on the side plates. On the center of the quadcopter, on the bottom of the stack, you can find the HGLRC DynoShot 60A 4-in-1 BLE32 ESC, and on top of it, their F7 flight controller, which I've previously reviewed. On the back side of the quadcopter, you can find the HGLRC Forward VTX. It supports 48 channels, features IRC Tram protocol, has an AM6 connector, and has a selectable output strength of 25, 50, 100, 200, and 400 milliwatts. On the back side of the quadcopter, you can find this 3D printed TPU part, which holds the radio receiver antenna tubes and the RPSMA to M6 connector. It also has these extra parts, which will enable you to mount a crossfire immortal antenna. Finally, along with the quadcopter, you're getting the HGLRC Hammer FPV antenna, which is very durable and performs great. Along with the FlySky bind-and-fly version, you're getting this receiver, which is of course already pre-soldered to the flight controller, and the flight controller is pre-configured to use it. I did try to fly the Sector 5 using this receiver, however I experienced very bad range issues, and I don't really like the fact that you're not getting the RSSI on your OSD, so I decided to remove the FlySky receiver and use the TBS Nano receiver instead. The weight of the Sector 5 without a battery is 356.5 grams. These are the batteries that I flew this quadcopter with, so the total weight including the 4S battery is 538.8 grams. Including the 5S battery, the total weight is 589.5 grams, and including this 6S battery, the total weight is 539 grams. The thickness of the Sector 5 arms is 5 mm. The width is 10.4 mm, and these arms are replaceable, which is a very important feature, especially if you're a beginner, since in case you're going to break an arm, you can simply replace it. The batteries are intended to be mounted on the top plate, which is also a nice aspect for beginners, since you are less likely to damage the battery when landing the drone. I do recommend to add a couple of landing pads on the bottom side in order to protect the frame. In order to configure the quadcopter, you will need to connect the flight controller to your computer and then use Betaflight. The quadcopter is pretty much pre-configured, so basically if you have the bind-and-fly version, what you need to do is just to bind the receiver to your remote controller, then make sure that everything works fine under the receiver tab, and They already predefined the modes, but I recommend to go over the modes and make sure that everything works according to your preference. What you do need to do is to head over to the power and battery tab and change the battery scale value from 110 to 107, because otherwise the voltage reading is going to be wrong. And when first flying this quadcopter, I thought that I have more battery than I have, and I almost crashed the quadcopter. So make sure that this value is going to be set to 107, and then the battery voltage reading is going to be correct. The next thing that I've done is to head outdoors and test this quadcopter using 4, 5, and 6S Lipo batteries. Even though the KV rating of the 6S version is a little bit low, you can still definitely fly it using a 4S battery, and I actually recommend it in case you're a beginner. I got close to 8 minutes of flight time using this battery, which is very impressive, and one of the most important things for you as a beginner is to gain a lot of airtime in order to get familiar with the quadcopter. The advantage as a beginner, in my opinion, of getting the 6S version over the 4S version is that you can start with 4S batteries, and as you advance and you want to fly faster, you can move to 5S and 6S batteries. Now, as you may probably know, I review HGLRC products quite often, so I reviewed most of the components of this quadcopter. In terms of value for money, I can tell you that you are going to get a great deal, since this quadcopter is priced at around $180, and just the ESC, flight controller, and VTX cost around $140. The quality of the components is really good, and I think that the weakest point of the quadcopter is the MicroFPV camera, which you can easily replace later. As for durability, I didn't crash the quadcopter, fortunately or unfortunately, but I did crash the 7-inch version, and so far it's okay. But of course, in a major crash, you're going to break something, so maybe it's a good idea to order an extra frame, so in case of a crash, you can repair your existing quadcopter and you're not going to be grounded. Now, in case you're debating whether to get the iFlatness Goal 5 or the HGLRC Sector V2, unfortunately, I don't have a definitive answer for you, since both quadcopters are pretty good and also priced about the same. If you twist my arm, I can tell you that the iFlatness Goal 5 has a better FPV camera than the HGLRC Sector V2, and the VTX of the Sector V2 is better than the VTX of the iFlatness Goal, but these are not major issues, and what I recommend to do is just to make up your own decision and be happy with it, since both options are good. And I think that it's great that currently you can get a pretty good quadcopter for less than $200, as it wasn't the case a couple of years ago. Now I'm going to show you the flight footage, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notifications bell if you're not already subscribed. See you on my next videos, and goodbye.